Okay, guys, gals, friends, family, back with you, super stoked. I'm really enjoying the Alone show, and I hope you guys are too. This is the recap, okay, of Alone Season 8, Episode 9, okay? And this one's titled The Troll. Let me get to where my notes are here. Episode 9, The Troll. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. There was a lot, we had a lot of footage on Biko this last show, episode 9, The Troll. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by the channel. Let's get right into it. Okay, day 33 now. 4 people remain. Alone Season 8, Episode 9, titled The Troll. And the show starts with this quote from Margaret Mead. She's a cultural anthropologist and a writer. Quote, "We have nowhere to go. This is all we have." Unquote. All right, day 33, 4 people left, and the show goes right straight to Biko. Biko wakes up, he tells us it is cold. He says, "This is stinking cold." Biko, we see Biko spend the day chinking the inside of that cabin. Okay, collect some moss, and we saw he had some big gaps in that cabin, in the logs in that cabin. All right, day 33 now, we jump to Coulter. Coulter says happy birthday to his brother Shane. Okay, he's not seeing any animals, any animal sign. They've had the 3rd snow now, and he hasn't seen any animals. He's going to stick to fishing. He decides to go fishing, and we see Coulter find a dead bird in the water. He cleans this thing, and this thing is full of worms. But he's so hungry, it's been so long since he's had any meat. He cleans it, boils it real good, and eats it. All right, day 40, the show goes on to Teresa. She finally gets to wear that homemade parka. That thing is beautiful. She finally sees herself for the first time in that homemade parka. She goes down to the beach and collects more rose hips, and checks on her fish basket line system. It's not working good at all. She strips her clothes off again and walks this fish basket out into some water. Show moves on to Biko now. We see Biko spending the day making his gill net, trying to stay busy. Loneliness is starting to get to Biko. We see him trying to stay busy. We see him carve a spoon. Okay. Day 41 now, Biko makes a spear. He tells us that his ankle's getting pretty sore, and he breaks down, cuts part of his knife off, and he makes a knife sheath for that troll shiv, he calls it. Also, we see Biko carve that troll cave sign for his cabin. All right, day 44 now, we move on to back to Coulter. Coulter finishes up his gill net. All 4 contestants getting their gill nets ready because they're coming up on day 45. All right, Coulter tells us he doesn't have any stomach aches, no stomach aches from that bird with all the worms. And he hopes that his gill net and boat combination is going to be the winning ticket. He's worried about his, oh, that's right. Coulter wakes up at about 2:30 in the morning. It's super windy. He's worried about his boat being smashed to bits. So he doesn't want to, but he gets up. He goes down to the beach, and good thing he did. He reties that boat. That thing almost got loose on him. All right, day 45 still, and the show finally moves on to Clay. And we see Clay collecting a huge ball of moss in that badass fish net that he made. He goes back to the cabin, gets a little archery practice in with that moss ball. Okay. He also says he's got to do a little more chinking of the logs in the cabin. Clay heads down. We see him head down to the beach to build that A-frame net deployment system. This thing is cool. He sees a duck foraging along the shoreline, and we see Clay get a shot off with his arrow, but he misses just a little bit low. Oh man, too bad for Clay. All right, day 46. Teresa now. She's telling us how windy it is. High waves down at the shoreline. Fish basket. She goes down to check the fish basket. It's all beat up. It's thrown up on shore. I mean, it's big waves. It's windy. And she says, you know what? No more fishing. She's going to just survive on plant food. All right, day 47 now. You guys stay with me. We move back to Biko. Biko checks out his gill net. No fish. He looks for food, lack of food, failure after failure. He's not feeling good. He's missing his family. He's starting to talk about his dad a lot. He said it's really starting to get to him. Okay, we're at day 48 now. 4 people remain. And we move back to Clay. Clay tells us he's acting like that anchor, that TV news anchor, weatherman, saying how windy it is out here. We got big white caps, and I don't think anybody's out here surfing or whatever he said. It was kind of funny. You guys got to go back and watch that. But he's complaining about the crappy weather. He checks on his gill net, nothing. Redeploys it. And the show moves to day 49 into Coulter. He wakes, tells us that he slept well. He goes down to check on the gill net. And guess what? 2 big fish for Coulter. And he's like, yes, yes, yes. He's pumping his fish. He is super stoked with those 2 big fish that he caught in the gill net. Very, very cool. Okay, now, day 50, 4 people remain. Back to Clay. He finds some big Matsusaki mushrooms, okay? He checks on the gill net. Nothing. Very discouraged. He got those big mushrooms. All right, day 50 now. We go to Teresa. We see her in her pit house, and she spills her mushroom soup all over the place. She has to recollect her mushrooms, rewash them off, reboil, redo the whole thing. Too bad for Teresa. Then we see her that night. She tells us about some type of a certain unique celebration back in the UK. And we see Teresa run up and down the beach with this torch in commemoration of that holiday back in the UK. Good for Teresa. She used it to keep her mind off of things. So good on Teresa. All right, day 51, and wouldn't you know it, we're back to Biko. We got a lot of Biko this show. He strips for us, takes his shirt off, and he shows us how much weight he's lost. Okay, the show tells us he's lost 68 pounds so far. But he says he's still got a lot of meat to lose. He shows us all that meat in front. He gets dressed and he goes out. He's discouraged about the fishing. So he forages, he digs up some onions. We see him replant the onions back at his cabin, hoping that they'll stay fresh longer and not dry out like the other onions were inside the shelter. The show ends with Biko talking about his father a lot. He's getting really depressed and lonely, and the show ends right there. Show's pretty good. We'll see. Who do you guys, leave me some comments. Who do you guys think's gonna win this thing? We got Coulter, we got Clay, we got Biko, and we got one woman, Teresa. You guys leave me a comment below. Let me know who you think's gonna win. And I want to thank you for stopping by the channel. Please subscribe, share. And again, thank you. This is General Patton's Bushcraft and Self-Reliance School.